welcome back to another episode of Pinal Prep Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. Getting into things, our game of the week is going to be a Thursday game, and we are talking about Maricopa and Casa Grande in girls basketball. CG Union will be hosting the Rams, and it's been a bit of a rough going for both of these two teams. So far, Maricopa has only won one game, CJ Union has won two, and while we are shooting this episode a bit early on in the week, and this game is a Thursday, both of these teams do have a game before they play each other, so maybe those records might change as far as wins go, but doesn't really look like it. But anyways, David, you've gotten a chance to see this Maricopa team. Just what can you say about them?
Yeah, well, first of all, between both these teams, there's two teams that are just desperate for a win. They really want to get out there and actually show that their value is more than what their record says. And I think with Maricopa, it comes down to they have a good start right now. They have a freshman scorer in Kalia Norwood who has been fantastic for them. She's been a revelation for this program, and she's been a real spotlight in what has otherwise been not a great year for Maricopa. And it's been a string of bad years for Maricopa girls basketball, and they're just still trying to find their footing. But with Norwood, you kind of see that light at the end of the tunnel. But right now, just the team around her is not as to her level, and she does what she can to kind of get this team to that level. But at the same time, like, you have to have good co-stars, and right now, Norwood is by herself. I mean, she's been the absolute best player on this team by far, scoring 18 points a game for them. She's been really good on the rebounding front as well, with 7 rebounds a game, assisting as well, about 1.5 assists per game. So she's just been the all-around go-to player for this team, but it just really needs to be the other girls that have stepped up for them. And we've seen it in other teams as well. You know, they have this one, shining star, but the supporting cast just may not be as up there with the level of that star. So I think for Norwood, she just continues has to stick with it. She can't be deterred when it comes to a team that maybe not performing as she would hope for. But at the end of the day, she's still just a freshman, and I think that's going to be a huge point for this team, where they can continue to rely on her a little bit, but also kind of try to build around her and improve the supporting cast around her. So I like this Maricopa team. I think that they're a little bit better than what their record shows, but at the end of the day, you have to get on the floor and prove it. And this game against Casa Grande is going to be a game that they definitely want to prove it, especially now that they're in the same region. They're going to be seeing each other a lot more. These are the games you're going to have to win and find a way to win. Norwood's going to be a big part of that. The supporting cast has to be able to be there for her as well.
For CG Union, I feel like this game is more evenly matched than any of the other ones they've had so far this season. I feel like their first 2 games against Gila Ridge and Santiago, which they lost, are games that they should have won. But then looking at the rest of their schedule, I mean, it's almost impossible going up against top 10 teams in 4A, 5A, and even 6A, which, I mean, honestly, why are we even doing that? I mean, this program has been struggling for quite a while since it moved up to 5A, and you're going up against the top 10 team in 6A. I mean, hey, it's going to hurt. But looking at Thursday's game, like David mentioned, it's kind of a one-star, and trying to find some supporting cast for Maricopa. It's the same thing for CG Union. CG Union starts and stops with Tyra Vaughn. Whatever Vaughn can do is what CG Union is going to do. So far this season, she is averaging 10.7 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, and then you look at the rest of the roster, nobody is even averaging 5 points a game. So whatever Vaughn can do, that is what CG Union is going to end up with. Unfortunately, like David mentioned, the supporting cast is a struggle for a lot of our teams. For CG Union, Vaughn is a senior. The rest of the group are either, there's a couple of seniors, juniors, just a big mixture of everything, but they don't have that same experience that Vaughn has as being a 4-year varsity starter, unfortunately. Looking at this matchup, however, I do feel like Maricopa does have the slightly upper hand. Like David mentioned, they have Norwood, but they also have a lot of more ability inside the paint and getting rebounds. Really got to highlight girls like Jennifer Gordoa and Isis Anderson, both of these averaging around 7 to 6 rebounds a game, which will be the key here because, hey, unfortunately, there are going to be some missed shots, and it's going to come down to who can get the rebounds, who can get those putbacks and everything, and I think Maricopa is going to have the upper hand here. Like we did last week, we were just doing the Game of the Week breakdown, and that does it for us. Be sure to check out Pinal Central for a recap on this game as well as other sports throughout the week.